Alright, what's up guys? Dare here with Fantasy Football Advice coming at you with a mock draft Monday. Today is a 10-team standard league through ESPN in the 10 spot. Hey, I know, ESPN, we do it way too much, and right now the rankings are screwed. But I tried to go on NFL.com because that's really requested right now, but I couldn't get a full draft. And every time I went on NFL, there were like a bunch of auto drafters and it would still run out the clock on all the auto drafters. If they were auto drafting and it would just instantly take the pick, I wouldn't mind at all. But I'm not here to make an hour-long video on literally all auto drafts. So we'll definitely hit NFL as soon as possible, but maybe I chose the wrong time. We're going to make it a priority. Today is going to be ESPN. It was also supposed to be fantasy. Well, there's the music, but it was also supposed to be fantasy football calculator, but I had some problems with that one as well. The drafts were just super dead right now. I'm on Pacific time. I think most fantasy football players are on Eastern because this should be prime time. It's Sunday afternoon. Everyone's back from doing their thing. It is Father's Day. Shout out to all you dads out there. But, I mean, no draft should be empty at this point in time. Okay, so I'm in the 10 spot. Nick, as you know, wants a top 3 pick. He won't be upset with top 6 because he's at least going to get one of those stud wide receivers. Me personally, I like picks 5 through 7. If you give me AJ Green, Mike Evans, or LeSean McCoy, I'm super happy, and I love drafting from that spot. But one that I really don't like, and I think Nick and I can agree on, is the 8 through 10. You know, that one's just really rough. We're going to see what we can do. It is standard. Normally we play PPR, but I actually started playing fantasy football through standard scoring. So this is nothing new to me. I know exactly how to rank these guys. Slight decrease from some of these players like Jarvis Landry and Golden Tate. And then I think the other big difference is late round running backs. You're not going to really want to get those guys who are like, you know, the pass catchers, the Chris Thompsons, the CJ Procises. You got to really downgrade those guys. Maybe as like a RB5 you can grab them, but you want those first and second down backs. I would probably rank, you know, Jamal Williams much higher. But hold on, let me see. My pick's up right now. Okay, so Bell, David Johnson, Zeke, Devontae Freeman at 4. That's just ridiculous. Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, AJ Green, Mike Evans. Pick's pretty easy. LeSean McCoy. Don't expect him to fall to you at the 10 spot, but pretty easy for me to see. Now, Jordy Nelson. Some of the analysts have Jordy Nelson up there in the same tier as Mike Evans and AJ Green. I don't. I have him in the following tier, but definitely leading that one. I think AJ Green and Mike Evans, if they fall to you, you have to take them. But if you don't get one of those guys, Jordy Nelson is just sick pick. Even in non-PPR. Right now, this is standard. I'll still take Jordy. He gets super high amount of touchdowns every year. Now, T.Y. Hilton, he gets the yardage, but not the touchdown. So you think, okay, this is probably, you know, less of a PPR play, more of a standard play. But I'd take Jordy Nelson over T.Y. Hilton 9 times out of 10. Maybe if I had like Jordy Nelson in 2 leagues and I didn't want to, you know, put all my eggs in one basket, I might take T.Y. Still, though, you can't go wrong there. All right, sorry, just getting some water. So we got Melvin Gordon after Jordy, T.Y., DeMarco Murray, Michael Thomas, Jordan Howard, Marshawn Lynch. That is really early, but this is standard, so Marshawn Lynch does have to get a bump. He's going to probably take that Latavius Murray role, goal line back. Latavius Murray can get 12 touchdowns, and you're saying beast mode can't? I mean, the real question, obviously, is did he spend that time a year removed, you know, partying too hard, or is he going to come here and give it his all? I personally think he can have a great year. Maybe he won't reach 1,000 yards, but double-digit touchdowns is in the realm of possibility. So we had Gronk that made it in round 2. Dez Bryant, super value pick there. Jay Ajayi, Amari Cooper, everything we're seeing so far, nothing out of the norm. There's a reach here for Leonard Fournette. He went in the second round. I'm sorry, third round. Pick 2 of the third round. That's definitely too high for my liking. If you guys have watched some of our earlier videos, check out the second round ADP video on Leonard Fournette. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I just don't think he's a great fit. 2 QBs, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I've been seeing Tom Brady get taken before Aaron Rodgers. I can't fault you, but how can you go against Aaron Rodgers? He had a mediocre start, but still ended at number 1. If there's one thing I can say about him, he is just hyper efficient. Alshon Jeffrey, Lamar Miller, Demaryius Thomas. I like Demaryius Thomas, but I would probably give him a downgrade and take Hopkins over him in non-PPR. In PPR, all day Demaryius Thomas. Non-PPR though, Hopkins, he was a stud in 2015. And now, while we don't expect him to replicate those 2015 numbers, as long as Brock Osweiler is out of there, give me all the Hopkins I can take. So my picks coming up, I got 30 and 31. I'll tell you what though, even though Nick wants, a top 3 pick, I really don't want, I hate going back to back. I would much rather like to be like in a 12-team league between like 4 and 8. Because when you go back to back, you really end up reaching on guys. And it's not a bad thing, that's kind of what you have to do. But I don't like it. The back-to-back picks, and sometimes when you have like a middle round pick, like pick 8, pick 7, you get to kind of have a feel for who you're going to get in the next round. You don't really have that when you're back to back. You just have to kind of see who lands to you and take the best player. So I have a running back and a wide receiver, Jordy and LaShawn McCoy. I love Doug Baldwin here. Watkins, honorable mention. Definitely like Doug Baldwin way more. We have Golden Tate and Jarvis Landry. In this range, end around 3, top around 4, you'd think that's a value for Jarvis and Golden Tate, but it's not because this is standard. So Doug Baldwin, welcome to the squad. Got another pick. Let's see who we got at the running back position. So we got Christian McCaffrey, Mark Ingram, Carlos Hyde, Isaiah Crowell. Isaiah Crowell is the pick. Bilal Powell is a solid pick too. But Isaiah Crowell is good, and his ADP is just skyrocketing. Yeah, it's Crowell. I'm just not seeing anybody else here. I mean, even if I wanted to go wide receiver, I guess you can make the argument for Sammy Watkins. You can make the argument for Sammy Watkins. He has that huge, big play upside. Not bad. I normally don't do this, though. Normally, I end up getting either 3 wide receivers, 1 running back, or, 3 running backs, 1 wide receiver. But I got 2 and 2. Really happy with the team right now. So normally this would be the spot where I'd start taking a look at who's going to fall to me next. There's just so many players until it's my turn. You just kind of have to wait and see. Now, Jarvis Landry at pick 35, normally you think that's a good value based off his ADP, but in standard scoring, he's just not the same player. Sorry guys, just getting a drink. Now, if I was these guys, I would definitely start considering Watkins here. Now, one thing I've seen with the 10-team leagues, you're going to have a solid team no matter what. I feel like overall, the NFL for skill position is just super deep. That's why we tried this new theory called wide receiver 0, where you go RB, 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 straight from the back, just 3 RBs. And our teams are looking really good. The kind of the overcorrection from last year where you had, a lot of people doing RB0, where they just wouldn't take a lot of running backs early, that's because, in all actuality, there are so many late round running backs due to injury or just due to rookies that end up becoming studs. Well, this year, now all the RBs are being taken so early. So now we're debating, we're trying it out, but we want to see how the ADPs lie come, the start of the season. It actually might be a thing. We may make some more videos on it later on, so keep an eye out on it. There are a ton of late round running backs that we like, but it's really heavy in the beginning of the draft on the really solid RBs. So my pick's coming up. Let's see what we got here. I'm not leaning towards a wide receiver or a running back. I'm going to play best player available. I'm liking Larry Fitzgerald and Bilal Powell. I'm going to get one of them because I'm next. And I'm not leaning towards one or the other. If I can get both, I'm going to be a really happy guy. But if I can't, I'm going to probably go Larry Fitzgerald and Joe Mixon. That's solid. I probably won't start Joe Mixon week 1 because I want to see what he does in preseason. But guaranteed by week 6 he's a starter. He's just a superior talent. That backfield is probably one of the most strongest and deepest and most diverse in the whole NFL. If their offensive line was a little better, I'd be more confident in that pick. But that's superior value. Okay, so Bilal Powell did get taken. So Larry Fitzgerald and Joe Mixon. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that we always take a quarterback late. We always take a tight end late. It's just kind of how we do things here. And it's the best way to do it. If you haven't tried it out yet, you're kind of new to fantasy football, you know who are the good guys. You want your Drew Brees, your Andrew Luck, your Aaron Rodgers. But I guarantee you, once you employ that strategy, you are going to have way better results year over year. I know it sounds difficult. You always want that good tight end. You want that Greg Olsen. You want that upside. But it just, in this day and age, that position, they come a dime a dozen. The difference between quarterback 6 and 16 on a points per game basis, it's only 3 to 4. Whereas, wide receivers in this range, it's night and day. Think about that. The stats back it up. We stand by it. We have great results, so give it a shot. Let's take a look at a team here. We have a subscriber in position 8. See how he's doing. Shout out Corey Helton. He's got Gurley, AJ, TY, Cooks, Olsen, and Diggs. Not a bad squad. A little bit wide receiver heavy. Nothing wrong with that. We post these mock drafts on the Facebook group. If you haven't joined it, we are very close to being full. We've been telling you in all our videos, join the Facebook group. It's going to be free for now, but pretty soon it's going to be to only our paid members. It's getting full. It's almost there. If you're watching this video and it's like 3 weeks from now, from when this video is posted, there may not even be a spot open. So if you're hearing this, join now, send an invite. If you get accepted, you're probably one of the last. Now that's interesting. Martavis Bryant at pick 62. I've been seeing him rise and rise and rise. I know a lot of people are fans. I'm a fan of Martavis Bryant. I want him on every one of my teams, especially in standard. But the whole reason I want him is because his value is so great. Now we have everybody reaching. Okay. So let's see here. We got 3 and 3. Okay. I used to be a huge fan of Mike Wallace. Now that Jeremy Maclin's there, I just am peeling off a little bit on him. I can't do it. I think the pick's Amir Abdullah and Brandon Marshall. Now, I get back-to-back picks, so I literally get to have whoever I want. It's the beauty of that. So Brandon Marshall. Just looking here. See if we have anyone else. QB. Nope. Tight end. Nope. I like Tyler Eifert. I really do. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be a great value. He was actually, you know, top 1 or 2 in points per game last year. The only thing is he only played in like 4 games. He does hurt AJ Green's touchdown upside when he's on the field. But he had some monster games. And if you watch him play and you were an owner like I was, man, I was floored. This guy's a stud. Even coming out of college, he's like, his measurables were off the charts. I know that doesn't mean anything. And I feel like with all these high-class tight ends, the Gronks, the Jordan Reeds, the Eiferts, it's just something you have to deal with. One of these times, someone's going to grab him. They're going to get a deal on him. And they're going to play full 16 games. And you're going to win a championship like that. You just will. I feel like Eifert has that opportunity this year. So, since this is a 10-team league, I will probably start to consider a tight end and a quarterback right now. My bench is starting to fill up. I still have the late round flyers that I like. But if I can get a deal on a quarterback or a tight end, I will be interested. So let's see who's coming off the board. Tevin Coleman. Not a bad play. Theo Riddick. Theo Riddick went right after Amir Abdullah. If you're going to pick between them, Theo Riddick was only good when Amir Abdullah was out. And even, you know, that was when all the stars aligned. Was he a stud? No. If he was, when Amir Abdullah went out, he should have been a straight-up RB1. He wasn't. I wanted to trade for him because the opportunity was there. But he's just not going to produce. If you're taking him this early and you think he's going to produce on a per-game basis as good as he did last year, while Amir Abdullah is there, you're just fooling yourself. There's no way. We already know what he can do when nobody's, you know, trying to get touches from him, and it wasn't impressive enough for me to think that he's got it going on. Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, he's been a wide receiver 1 before too, but that was when he was actually in the wide receiver 1 role. Mike Evans is in that role. And you could make the argument that Mike Evans is going to take, you know, double coverage, as he should, because he's solid. But do you really think Deshaun Jackson is just going to, you know, get 3 for 80 and a touchdown every game? No, he's going to be boomer bust like he always has been. So I don't like those picks at all. Every time I see a pick that I don't like, makes me happy inside. Same within these live drafts. Like, for the actual regular season, I just like mark off the people I don't like, and I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because that means one more player that I do like is falling closer to me. LeGarrette Blount. Yeah, he had a good year. Good player. Nope. Probably one of the worst in the league at the position. Kelvin Benjamin. Same thing. Russell Wilson. Cam Newton. Alright, we have some great picks coming up. Robert Kelly, don't draft him. Willie Snead is definitely more of a PPR play, but I like him, you know? I have him right now. He'll be my wide receiver 5. Wide receiver 5, Willie Snead. Not bad. Kirk Cousins, not a bad pick. Alright, so Willie Snead, for sure. And I think it's Kirk Cousins. Or Kareem Hunt. Yeah, I'm just debating here. Let's see who is left for quarterback. Yeah, alright. Look at all these guys. Derek Carr, Dak, Matthew Stafford. Just checking the wide receivers one last time. We were really high on John Brown. Don't get us wrong. But, nah, not so much anymore. Take a look at the stuff coming out of training camp. He still has some problems. We're not fully letting our foot off the gas pedal, but we're not going to push him on you guys right now. You know, not like Marquise Lee earlier. If you've watched some of our other videos, we have, you know, a handful of players that we'll push on you and sell you on, and you draft them, and you'll thank us for it later. And we always make sure that these players are complete locks. John Brown was starting to become that guy, but recently we're not sold enough based on the stuff that we're hearing. He's still a good pick right now. He's just someone to monitor. So we're knocking him down just a little bit. So we got Perine out of Washington. He's going to be the starter. Robert Kelly is straight garbage. That's the thing with these 10-team leagues. Look how stacked I am. I mean, probably the most difficult decision I'm going to have is who to start week 1. Other than that, it's going to be pretty easy. Man, and Kirk Cousins fell too. Okay, 10th and 11th. Just taking a look. Jamal Charles, don't do it. I mean, I guess as one late round flyer, it's not bad, but make sure you diversify. Don't grab Charles in all 3 of your leagues, or 4 of your leagues, however many you play. You might end up kicking yourself in the ass. You could debate, though, between Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford. I have them very close in the rankings. Yeah, I think with these wide receivers, you have equal value moving forward. There's no point. So I really love Hunter Henry, but his first 4 weeks are brutal. That may help him because the tight end position, sometimes the tight end position is a little fluky. Like, even if a team is really good against receivers, the tight ends can still have a good game. So it's basically a toss-up in those first 4 games for San Diego if Hunter Henry's going to either be a stud or not. But I have a strong feeling that if he struggles, I can get him dirt cheap on a trade or even pick him up on the waiver wire. So I'm going to go Eric Ebron here. My team's already getting pretty full. I got 2 more bench spots on the wraparound. Defense and kicker always last. Looks like a lot of these players that are in this draft right now are doing the same strategy. I don't even see a defense or kicker taken. Pretty impressive. I think a lot of people are starting to really do the research and find out what works. Quarterback late, obviously. Tight end late. Defense and kicker last. The stats just, they speak for themselves. If you're one of those people who really wants to reach on a defense, I can't fault you. There are defenses that are better than others, but data is king. This is 2017. If you don't believe in the numbers, then, you know, and you go on feeling, yeah, that may have worked back in the day. The eye test, you know, that's still really important, but the stats tell you defense and kicker last, tight end and quarterback late. Those are the people that win championships. So let's see here. We have Jamal Charles still there. Now at this point in time, the Jamal Charles flyer is not that bad. Oh, and by the way, never draft a backup quarterback and a backup tight end. Waste of picks. Oh, you know what? The pick's very easy right now. Marvin Jones. One thing about Marvin Jones, and I don't think we've talked about him enough. Marvin Jones showed through the first 4 weeks he has the ability to be a wide receiver 1. Better in standard too. So this is a standard mock draft. Marvin Jones can be the kind of guy that goes, you know, 3 receptions for 112 yards and a touchdown. Because what? He can get 2 40, 50-yard touchdowns like nothing. He has the build. Matthew Stafford has the arm. Yeah, he kind of dipped off last year, and he's aware of it himself. He said he's making strides. He wants to be more consistent. He wants to be a part of this offense. It was almost as if Marvin Jones was doing well, and then Golden Tate was talking about being benched from the coaching staff, and then he just did a complete 180. And then Marvin Jones was just garbage, and Golden Tate was a stud. Well, just because I've seen it from Marvin Jones before, I won't mind a flyer on him, especially in standard scoring. So keep an eye out for him late round as a sleeper. I know this is a 10-team league, so you're going to get studs no matter what, but I have no problem taking Marvin Jones as my last pick as a wide receiver. I always prioritize with my last pick for defense and kicker. I always go defense first. Patriots defense, what a steal. So Patriots defense, normally we advocate for Eagles and Falcons, but since this is 10-team, nobody's taking backup defenses. Patriots is a great one to have on your team. As for kickers, Matt Prater, really good one. It would be between Matt Prater and Dustin Hopkins. Both you want teams that can move the ball, but have trouble in the red zone, and that's exactly what both Matt Prater and Dustin Hopkins have. Kirk Cousins, yeah, he was good. He had one of the highest completion percentages in the league. He was like one of the more accurate quarterbacks, but when it came to the red zone, he was one of the worst. Dustin Hopkins had an amazing year. I don't expect that to change either. I went Matt Prater though. Eric Ebron, Marvin Jones, Matt Prater. As you can tell, not super high on the Lions, but I love him. I think there's going to be plenty of good fantasy plays coming out of Detroit. So let's go over the team. Remember, this is 10-team. I hope most of you guys play in 12 teams because 10 teams are really a crapshoot. But we have Kirk Cousins at the helm. Happy with that pick. Give it a 7 out of 10. LeSean McCoy, Crowell. We have Joe Mixon, Amir Abdullah, Samaje, and Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles is really a crapshoot. Samaje and Joe Mixon, I bundle those guys in together as the same thing. Maybe you're not going to start in week 1. Watch out in preseason. Watch out in training camp. But if you do your homework, these are the guys. They're the most talented players in their backfield. And that's saying something, especially for Joe Mixon. But he's a stud. He probably would have been taking top 5 if he didn't have all that drama. Samaje Perine, who's he competing with? Rob Kelly? Come on. Matt Jones, that guy's going to be released. Amir Abdullah, that's kind of bread and butter. That's a guy I could start week 1, depending on the matchup. Crowell McCoy, you're not benching McCoy. So I would give the running backs probably an 8 out of 10. So we got Jordy, Baldwin, Fitzgerald, Marshall, Willie Snead, Marvin Jones. All right, that's pretty good. If I were to say that this were PPR, I would be much more happy. Fitzgerald and Willie Snead are much better PPR plays. Doug Baldwin and Jordy, yet they both scored more and were higher ranked in PPR, but they're just as solid in standard. So I'm very happy with that. That's another 8 out of 10. Then you have tight end Eric Ebron, solid. Defense Patriots, kicker Matt Prater. If you watch my last mock draft, I gave that one a 7 out of 10. I'm going to think this one was even better. And probably, yeah, because it's a 10-team. But where can you find the holes here? Tell me. Jamal Charles, all right, I'm not going to argue with that. But if he struggles, if I hear more reports, I would not be afraid to drop him real quick. Really means nothing to me. There's Jamal Williams, Marlon Mack, so many running backs that are rookies. If you haven't seen our late round flyer video for running backs, do so. All those guys went undrafted. I would drop them in a heartbeat if Jamal Charles just didn't look good. Come preseason, they gave him a couple snaps and he just completely busted. No problem with that. So, all right, that's going to do it for today's video. Remember, this through ESPN, but I wanted to do it through Fantasy Football Calculator and NFL.com. Those are going to be coming, but we just have to wait till it gets closer to the season. These mock drafts are not filling up right now. We want to give you guys the biggest opportunity to see some live action. Those websites, they just don't produce it right now, but you can guarantee we will be on there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up button. If you didn't, dislike it. Let us know what you didn't like about it so we can fix it for you next time. So please be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.